Well, hello. How are you doing this morning, afternoon, evening, night? Whatever time of day it currently is for you on this planet. And for this video, I'm going to talk about my first ever interview. But first, let us go ahead and discover who the universe has chosen for today's opponent. PBNVN from Vietnam will be the opponent for today. Well, first things first. The first thing I want to say is I've been rewatching a lot of LA Beast recently. He's been popping up on my feed. I remember him in his prime. He's still doing pretty good, and it's good to see. You know, he was one of the goats of YouTube, I guess. Definitely the food challenge part of YouTube. But anyways, this video I'm going to kind of give a story time or talk about my first ever job interview at Smoothie King. I've been talking about a lot of work stuff recently, like the past two videos I did work horror stories, and a few days ago I thought of my first job interview. I was like, oh, I'll make a video on that. I am rambling a bit too much, but let me go ahead and take this night, disrupt this structure a little bit. First job interview, I was 16, had my first ever car, so it was time to work. My dad was like, it's time to get a job. I'm 16, I got my car. Nothing stopping me from making some cash. And so I remember applying to many places, but Smoothie King was the one place that I really wanted to work at because I loved making smoothies. Now, this is a very weird situation going on right here. I have no idea what is taking place, and this is going to end up being an interesting one. Let's see what happens. Yes, Smoothie King was number one on the list. I loved making smoothies. So I was like, I love making smoothies. I'll have a good time at Smoothie King. So I put a lot of effort in to the application. I love making smoothies at home. Pretty good smoothies, by the way. Better than Smoothie King, I would argue. But I got the interview. I was like, okay, there we go. Got the interview. First ever interview. Nervous. My parents are like, you got to dress nice. Put my dress shirt on. Put the khakis on. And I'm on my way to Smoothie King, which was a pretty good distance away. It was like 15 to 20 minutes. But I was like, it's Smoothie King. The job that I really want. So it's worth it. I'm also debating if I should put my bishop here or if I should put my bishop here, and I think I'm going to put it here. Just put it closer into the action. I don't know, that's my theory. Put it into the action. Puts more use in the game. I don't know. Go ahead and castle. So, make it to the Smoothie King in their interview, and it's going well. It's going amazing. One of the boss, the manager, the guy, and then there's a co-worker sitting right there. We're all having a good time. We're talking about video games and stuff, and I'm giving the cliche answers like, oh, I'm good with working with teammates. I watched the video. What am I supposed to say in an interview? It was like, oh, you work well with others. You're a good team player. I was doing all that stuff. It's like your brain it's like you're not yourself, and your brain gets into manual mode. And it's easier if you prepare. I didn't prepare. But honestly, I don't think preparing could have prepared me for the question that I was going to get asked, right? We're having a good old time. We're talking about Halo. The manager and I were bonding on Halo, and then out of nowhere, the real test comes in. I'm like, I'm thinking I got the job. And it's the real test. He gets a powder, he gets a container with like powder. He gives it to me as like, I give you 30 seconds. Just look at the words. He's like, I'll give you 30 seconds to look at the words, and I'll ask you some questions about it. I'm like, okay. Sounds easy enough. I'm like, is this standard procedure for a Smoothie King interview? I don't know. Probably should have looked that up before, but I didn't prepare, right? I just looked up a video. What am I supposed to say in an interview in general? It was like, all that good stuff. I should have looked up, what is Smoothie King going to ask me? I don't know. I'm like, okay, easy enough. And I'm looking at the container, and everything is just hieroglyphs. Like, I have no idea. Like, am I even reading English right now? You know what I mean? Because like when everything changes when you're under a time crunch, it's like it changes the game for sure. Make sure I don't get back ranked here. And so yeah, give the container back to him, and he's asking me. I forget the first question he asked. He was like, I forget the question he asked, but I answered like, it's a good flavor. It's chocolate flavor. People love chocolate flavor. I think he asked me, how would you sell this product, right? And mind you, I'm a how old was a freshman in high school, somewhere around there. I'm fresh, never sold a thing a day in my life. It's like, how would you sell this product? Chocolate, good. Good. Chocolate, good. People love chocolate, you know. And then the second question was a doozy. He was like, what does the chemical in the product, I forget the name of the chemical in the product. He's like, what does that do for, what could you say to somebody about that particular thing about the product that would make them, or not make them, or want them to buy the product? I did not mean to put my pawn up there, by the way. I meant to go back here because this is a very dangerous threat. I definitely don't want my opponent on my 7th rank. So that was definitely a mouse slip. But that's what I get when I talk and play chess at the same time. But our opponent does not see the opportunity to enter my territory, and so we will defend. So he asked me, so why would somebody buy that? Or what could you tell the customer about this certain thing? And I had no idea. And apparently it was, I don't know, I forgot the name of it. But apparently, like, it makes you fuller. It's supposed to make you feel fuller or whatever. I think it's some type of nutrient or whatever that makes you feel fuller. And well, I definitely did not get that question correctly. I didn't even answer the question, and never heard from them again. Never heard back. Which is a doozy. So anybody working at Smoothie King, or anybody who is interested at working at Smoothie King, and you have an interview coming up, be prepared to to be handed a product and to be asked about it, I guess. Okay, so I have to be very careful. I'm gonna go here, because if you go here, I can go here, and we're lasting a little longer, although it's not looking great. It's not the worst. It's not the worst of all time. Since I have more time, another interview story actually was another doozy, but I got the job, was at Walmart. Which was my second ever job. My first ever job was at a pizza place, and my friend was working there, so it was like that was the way in, right? That's what you want. You don't want to apply online and get an interview. Like, you want to have the connection in, like it's automatic every time. Okay. Huh. So I am contemplating trading bishops in this situation, because that bishop is pretty annoying. So let me just see what our opponent here does if I threaten the trade. But yeah. And Walmart too, I think, or I had friends working there already, so it was like a way in, right? And like, I think we had one connection in there, and it was like three of us interviewing at the same time. Like, we all pulled up at the same time and just interviewed. And in my interview, it was going well, right? Again, going well. I'm like, great. And then he asked me the cliche question, which I was like, I never expected this to actually be asked in an interview. I was like, I thought it was the cliche question. It was, what are your strengths and weaknesses? So I was like, okay. I didn't think I was going to be asked that one. I thought that was just, again, like the cliche type of thing. I was like, I wasn't sure if people actually asked that in interviews, but I was asked that. And for the strength, I said, yeah, team player. Did the whole team player answer. And then got to my weakness. He said, what are your weaknesses? And I was like, oh. Blank-minded a little bit. And I said the absolute worst answer imaginable. I said, I don't really like people. I was like, I may not really have the best energy with customers. Which, if you're gonna work at like a Walmart or a Kroger or any type of retail store or whatever, don't say you're not good with the customers. I was like, yeah, no, I just hate customers. And the guy and the manager looked at me, and I was like, okay. He was like, well, let's make sure, you don't. Let's make sure you're not having beef with the customers. I was like, yep, you got it. You got it, and I got the job. So there you go. Those are my job interview stories. Yeah. Well, now I can put the rest of my energy into this game, which is turning out to be pretty interesting. Pretty interesting, I do say so myself. Playing out to be a hard-fought battle now. Now, the reason I have a very strong advantage right now is because of this pawn structure right here, and my guy the opponent's pawns are scattered about, so we're going to take advantage. We're going to take advantage of that, and I also have this guy right here that I'm getting ready to push down the battlefield. So let us see what happens. Okay, so you're going for that right there, but I think there's not enough time. There's not enough time, right? All right. Am I tripping? What's going on here? Go here. What if I go... Ooh, I can just go here, and then I can just protect. Who would have thought? That's a move. That's certainly a move by my opponent. Well, let me just go here now. And I think there's just not enough time for my opponent to do much. Although they can go like this, can't they? Okay, so this is turning out to be a little bit more difficult than I thought it was going to be. It's like a puzzle, right? It's like a puzzle. You got to solve the puzzle. Now, if I go here... Oh, let me just go here. I'm panicking. What is going on? Okay. That's good. That was a doozy. That was a doozy by my opponent. I will admit that was a doozy. That is not what my opponent wanted to do. And now I just bring the reinforcements over and guide this pawn down the battlefield and call it a night. Call it a night. If it is nighttime for you, how are you doing right now? If it is the morning time, well, also, how are you doing right now? Or whatever time of day. How you doing? Okay. Nope. The force field of all force fields. I gotta make sure I don't blunder this game. You know, I have the tendency to blunder a game like this. Not tonight though. You know, it wouldn't sit. I couldn't sleep correctly if I didn't win this game. You know what I mean? It's got to be done. It's got to be done. So I just say like safety #1 priority and just clean this pawn. Okay, well, that makes it a whole lot easier, doesn't it? And now we just do the good old fashioned ladder. Yes. No. That's funny. Yeah. They're gonna hide behind the pawn the whole way up. That is funny. I do have to admit. But unfortunately, that will conclude this game. Well, get the job done. Yeah, if you have any crazy job interview stories, tell me about it in the comments. Other than that, that's all I got. And I'll see you in the next one. Also, I hope you have found peace in your day. And I'll see you in the next one. Toodles.